Can hurting your plants actually help them? That's the topic for today's video. But before we get into it, today's video is brought to you by Real Grow Lab. If you want to connect with the best growers from all over the world, get tips and tricks on how to grow the dankest plants possible, and not have to worry about the censorship we get from YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, go check out realgrowlab.com. Get all kinds of great Grow Talk Q&A. Plus, see all the stuff YouTube won't let me show you in these videos. Sign up and join our growing community over at realgrowlab.com. Or download the app at the Apple or Android App Store. Now let's get back to today's video. All right, I see you ready to jump into it, man?
I am. So this is a problem that I have. I overthink growing and I worry about having everything perfect. That if I don't get everything perfect, my plants are going to die. I don't know if I've been brainwashed into that. But you're saying that I'm wrong in worrying about all that stuff. Yeah,
I can make a people analogy right off the bat, but we all need a little bit of stress. You never knew that person that never had to worry about a thing in their lives? They're soft, man. No, but for real, a little stress makes you stronger, you know, and it's the same for plants.
Okay, so we talk about how to dial in everything and make it the most perfect condition for the plants. And that's kind of what I'm shooting for. But you're saying that a little bit of stress here and there isn't such a bad thing.
Absolutely. And I can give you a good example. When we work out, what are we doing? We're stressing our muscles, tearing them a little bit. We're giving them resistance, and it makes them stronger, right?
Yeah, and then the other thing that I'm thinking about is when plants are outside in nature, they don't have the perfect environment.
Right. Yeah, they have to respond to those stressors, man.
Okay, so let's talk about, I guess, the theory, or maybe it's proven fact, that deliberately controlling some stresses can actually help your plants grow stronger.
That's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact. There's all sorts of positive stresses. This also will get in the crop steering a little bit, stressing the plant to elicit certain responses.
Yeah, okay, so you gave me a list of a couple of different stressors, and I kind of want to go through each one one by one. All right, the first one you said physical stress. Help me understand that.
Same thing, exactly. The workout analogy. The fans blowing on the stalks and bending the stalks a little bit. That's sending a signal to them. Hey, I better get stronger. Just a little bit of wind is bending me over. I better get a little bit of strong, or I better get stronger.
Okay, and I've seen you do something where you not just bend, I've seen you actually snap.
Snap, yeah. I mean, you can redirect rooting hormones and auxins and all that stuff, growth-promoting hormones. You can relocate by stressing the plant. I'll do something called high-stress training, which is literally I take the top, instead of cutting the top, I'll take it and bend it over. And I mean bend it to where it has a crick in it, you know, a crease in it. And it will just become this big, strong knuckle, and it'll be a big one of the bigger tops. It'll go like that, and it'll make my canopy nice and even.
Yeah, so instead of just having that one cola, I've seen when you do it, you kind of bend it, and then all of a sudden a bunch of colas start popping up.
Yep. Hey, but you could go as simple as low-stress training. If I'm taking a branch that's like that, and I'm tying it up to a bamboo stake, there's some stress involved with that. If I cut the leaves off the lowers, there's stress involved in that. So what's it going to do? It's going to say, hey, I got to make a decision. I was feeding these leaves, so what do I do now? Well, I'm a little stressed, but I'll just take it over here. I'll just send it to these other flowering sites.
I think of like when you get a broken bone and then your body starts sending stuff to the break to heal that area. It's kind of looks like that's what it's doing when you do that snap on the stem.
Yeah, definitely, man. And it grows actually stronger. So yeah, the physical stress.
Okay. All right. So physical stress was the first one. The next one you sent me was cold stress.
Cold stress is a real thing. Yeah. Cold stress is a legitimate way to, for me, it brings out color. You can stress a plant out. I'll bring it down to, if I can bring it down to 60 degrees the last couple weeks of flowering, I call it bringing out those fall colors. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it will definitely elicit a stress response. Think about it. In fall, you have warmer days and cooler nights. You get those color changes.
So I think of like fall colors when I think of the trees, and the leaves are turning orange, purple. That's kind of the same thing that happens with your cannabis.
Exactly. So if there is, any genetic proclivity for that plant to turn purple, that stress response will produce. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, and then the next one that you were telling me about was light stress.
Yeah, lights, that's an easy one, man. That's an easy. Think about UV. I think all the different spectrums of UV. And I mean, you could go 18.6 is stressing at the last weeks of flower with extra light energy.
Okay.
But I'm thinking of UV light, man. UV light is the plant wants to protect itself. It's a stress response where it's going, man, my whole idea here is to make a seed and protect that seed. So I'm going to put up as much sunscreen as I can. And that's the UV.
Okay, so we've talked about UVA lights that people are adding to their grow.
Right.
And that triggers that extra trichome sunscreen effect.
That's an additional stress response. Absolutely.
Okay, and then the last one, and I've heard you talk about dryback before, but water stress or drought stress.
This is something that people will do ever since I found bottom feeding. I don't do it anymore, but you can get, they call it dryback, and it means just letting your containers really dry out. And anyone that has gone away for the weekend and come back and seen, they're like, oh my God, my containers were so light, but the plants grew like crazy. Mm-hmm. There is a stress response, and it does also make the roots expand out because they're looking for more moisture pockets.
So in nature, we have a drought or we have a couple of days with no rain.
Right.
Those roots, naturally, they start looking for water. They grow, they expand.
Yep.
And so we can trigger that effect by deliberately withholding a little bit of water.
Yes, sir.
But then you mentioned you use the sip buckets. So you don't ever give your plants the ability to do that?
No, I keep them in the ideal moisture ratio all the time, so I don't water stress my plants.
All right. Okay, so you mentioned earlier a word, crop steering. This is a new word for me. Kind of explain what that is.
You're just able to affect your crop. I guess the idea is to steer the direction of your crop according to temperature and environmental conditions, things like what we just talked about, the cold stress or the water stress.
Little kind of tricks that you can trigger it into doing different things.
You can direct it. You can direct it different ways. Hey, I need the roots to grow a little bit more. Well, let's give it a little water stress here. Hey, I need to pull out. This is supposed to be more purple. This is supposed to be more colorful. Let me turn the lights down a little bit more. We'll pull those colors out. But those are just my few favorite crop steering techniques. But what about you? Let me know your favorite. Give me just one in the comments. And if you like this video, please press that like button, smash that subscribe button, and check out the other couple videos YouTube's recommended for you.